Welcome to Module 3, Account Sustainability, the most important module in actually keeping your accounts forever, right? This is what separates short-term match bettors from lifelong millionaires, right? Account sustainability. Let's dive straight in, just with some key concepts. 99% of the time, the maximum unit size we'll place on a bet is $50. Considering we will be using a lot of promos, a key tip to avoid suspicious activity is rarely maxing out the promos. You'll see like 90% of the bets I put out are placed at 4.5 units. Not 4, not 5, 4.5. Why? It's the highest you can go where it's not suspicious. So $50, $50, $50, $50, $50, $50. It's very robotic and you're maxing out the promos every time. Over a certain period of time, it just gets very suspicious and it's going to put your accounts at risk. Eventually, flags will pop onto your account and it's gone. That's like the first key tip that's super underrated. If you have just opened up a new account, you need to warm up the account, right? When you open a brand new account, place at least 20 bets to start, non-promo, just like, you can place the multis just without the bet return. And then after you place like a good 20 to 30, you're good. Like you're pretty much out of the radar then, and you can actually go back to like, not abusing the promos, but $45 bonus bets and converting them and, smart mug betting, etc., which we'll get into next. If you're using an account that you've been using for years, like you've been, going to the pub with the boys, chucking a multi on, like, this isn't an important step. Like, ideally, if you guys, like a lot of people, they'll start like, oh, do I need to open up a new account? It's like, bro, if your account's been being used for weeks, months, years, perfect. But even if you have a brand new account, it's completely fine, okay? Just make sure you warm them up, which is just placing 20 to 30 non-promo bets, trying to fly under the bookie's radar, not being suspicious. Like, we will always put our bets on busy markets with high amounts of liquidity, i.e. high amounts of, money in the market. We'll put out our bets on NBA, NRL, AFL, and popular horse races. If you're going to be placing your own bets, make sure they are on popular markets. Just like putting out very high odds, betting way above your normal unit range. Like, if your average bet's $40, why are you placing $400 bets? Just be careful, okay? Placing like way outside of unit range. Don't do it often, if at all, in my opinion. And I like another one as well, because a lot of people, come to me and they're like, oh, my account's been limited, what can I do to get the promos back? I'll dive into that real quick on the second last point here. So, what does being limited mean? All your promos will be removed and the EV, which is what guarantees the profit and is now lost. If you get your account limited, if you get one account limited and don't change what you're doing, eventually all your accounts will be limited, right? I kind of went off for a second, but back what I was saying before, like, if your account gets limited, it's done. There's no restoring it, there's no reviving it, it's done. Just leave it in the dust, move on. And then coming back to that other point that I was just saying as well, which is super important, like, if one of your accounts gets limited because you were being a dick and you weren't placing mug bets and you were like thinking you were going to get lucky, that sort of behavior and outcome is going to carry on and carry over to every other bookie and account you do that on. If you got banned/limited on Sportsbet and you don't change your systems, you don't change your attitude, you don't change your betting patterns, you don't place mug bets, it's going to happen on Ladbrokes, it's going to happen on PointsBet, it's going to happen on Betr, it's going to happen on PlayUp, it's going to happen on Bet365, it's going to happen on every single bookie and every single account you open, right? It's like I think it's a quote from Albert Einstein where he says like, insanity is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? It's like this. Oh, 10 of my accounts got banned because I wasn't placing mug bets, but I'm still not going to place them and hopefully, I don't get banned this time. Are you dumb? You're going to get banned. Anyway, next slide. All right, this is like a clear layout on the side here. This is a really good sort of visual example that shows, what mug betting actually looks like on your account or bookie, right? So let's say a bot sees your account here, right? On the left, you have Joe Schmo, who thinks he's invincible. And his account looks like this. Win, win, bonus, win, bonus, bonus, win, bonus, win, win, bonus. A bonus is technically a loss, but the bookie sees a bonus as like you winning, right? So to a bookie, there's just all these ticks, right? And what solid match better does, i.e. places mug bets, his account looks like this, right? Win, mug, bonus, mug, win, mug, mug, right? Now, a mug bet you lose like $1. Literally. On a $40 mug bet, you'll lose like 90 cents, right? It's nothing. But to a bookie, pretend you're like a bot, right? And you're scanning over two people's accounts. They're both match bettors, but number one, he's the guy on the left. He's a shit match better. Guy number two, he's a professional, right? The bot sees all these ticks, and he's like, yeah, I don't know about that one, chief. I'm sending this guy over for a manual review. But bot number two goes over your account, and because you're a professional and you place a consistent amount of mug bets, he just sees the ticks and the crosses, bro. He's like, tick, cross, tick, cross, tick, cross, bro. There's so many crosses. This guy's good. He doesn't know what he's doing. You do know what you're doing. You're just withdrawing your profits through Betfair. But they don't know that. They just see the wins and the losses, man. And to them, if you're losing, right? But you're not actually losing. You're placing mug bets. And mug betting is actually a really smart way to withdraw your profits, right? Because if you think about it, right, like as you progress, you're going to want to place a similar amount of mug bets to a similar amount of, normal promo bets. Sorry, so if you're placing 20 promo bets a week, you want to place 20 mug bets, right? To a lot of people, that sounds ridiculously excessive, right? And people always say like, oh, you should place one mug every 5 to 10 bets. Bullshit. One mug per promo. It doesn't have to be exact. Like you don't have to go, one mug, one promo, one mug, one promo. It can be like 5 promos, 2 mugs, 2 promos, 3 mugs, and then, it can be a little bit, it doesn't have to be exact, it just has to be similar, okay? You can place 10 promos and then go, oh shit, I'll place like 5 mugs, but just make sure it's like relatively similar. And in my opinion, man, like you're not really losing any money through mug betting. So, placing a 2-to-1 ratio, placing 10 promos and 20 mugs, you can do that. I think 1-to-1's enough, but if you want to place more, you can, if you want to be extra conservative. But the thing is, like, you have to remember, people are like, oh, I don't want to place mug bets because it costs like $1. And it's like, it's more expensive to not place them. Because if you don't place the mug bets, what are you costing yourself then? The potential tens of thousands of dollars that you could have made, but you're not because you got banned, right? Don't be that guy. The smart guy is like, I'm willing to sacrifice a couple bucks to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. The other guy is like, I'm not willing to sacrifice a couple bucks because I'm going to sacrifice hundreds of thousands of dollars instead. That's what? You just sound like an idiot. That's like saying, would you rather spend $1 a day to get 100 grand, or would you rather not spend $1 a day so you get to keep your $1 a day but you never get the 100 grand? Like, you're gonna spend $1 a day to get 100 grand, right? That's what mug betting is. That's like the whole sort of idea of it, right? Think about, you're a bookmaker. You just see all these greens. You're like, but you see all these reds in between. All those reds. Look at all those reds, right? Pretty sweet. So now the most important part is I'm actually going to show you how to place a mug bet, right? I'll go through the example over here, and then I'll actually run you through how to place one in person. So find a popular game with a large market, i.e. NBA game, right? Over here's a good example. And back your chosen amount, so let's just say it's $50 for the analogy. Find the same game on Betfair and lay 0.5 less, okay? So I'll show you why we do this in a second. I'll move on to the next slide. Here's the whole method. You guys can go back and like read the method, but I'll just show you in person. It makes it a lot easier to understand. So I found like a mug betting secret. So don't do this every single time. Place some mug bets on the head-to-head, but if you are placing mug bets on the handicap, it's like insane amounts of EV. I'll just show you. Discovered this the other day. So, I'm already on this game. We'll just use this game as an example, right? So, let's say I want to place a mug bet here, right? $50 on the nets, and then we go over here and we lay $50 on the nets, right? As you can see, this comes out to $3.35. We need to match that, right? So probably like 40 something. Wow, that's terrible. 335. Okay, so there is absolutely no EV on this game whatsoever. So as you can see, we spent 50 over here, and we spent 38 over here. Sorry, 300 over here. We spent 50 over here, we spent 296 over here. So in total, we've spent $346. $346. No matter the outcome, we're guaranteed $334. So for this mug bet, this is a really bad mug bet by the way, we're going to lose $12. That's fucking terrible, right? And that's what most people do. That's why most people don't want to place mug bets. They're like, bro, you lose like $12 a bet. That's terrible, right? Here's where the EV comes in. So you go down here and you go the handicap, okay? Sorry, it's up top here. Sorry, guys. So we're going to want to back the minus, okay? Orlando Magic, negative 13.5. $50 bet, right? Go back. Find the same bet, Orlando Magic, minus 13.5, and we'll lay. And now the stake, select payout. We want the payout to be the same. $94, $99. Was it 94? 94. So as you can see now with this mug bet, we're only losing $2.50. Way better mug bet, but it gets even better. The good thing about Betfair, right? Sportsbet places theirs in 0.5 amounts. On Betfair, you don't have to go on the whole amount. So look at this. What we do is, I'll just use that one for reference. Minus 16.5, and we don't do minus 16.5. We do minus 16.0. We do 0.5 less, because even if they score, let's say Washington loses by 16, that one still pays out, because Betfair always pays out. Even if it's on the line, Betfair pays out. So we actually bring it back one here. Now we back 50 or whatever. Oh, this is just insane, right? 49.5, 49.8, 49.7, 49.8. This is ridiculous. Okay, now just look how crazy this is, guys. So as you can see, on Sportsbet, we spent $50, and on Betfair, if we select liability, we spent $44, okay? So in total, we've spent $94.3, okay? 94.3. No matter the outcome, we're guaranteed $94. And we spent 94.3. If this bet wins, we win 94. If this bet wins, we win 94, right? The liability isn't the 49.75. The liability is the 44. So liability is how much we are spending, okay? So we're spending $44. We're spending $50, that's 94.3. No matter what, we're guaranteed $94 of payout. So with this mug bet, we are going to lose 30 cents. If we bet on the head-to-head, this is what rookie mug bettors do, and that's why they don't want to mug bet, right? Literally. If you bet on the head-to-head, you're going to lose $12. If you bet on the handicap and you take that 0.5 off, which is the same outcome anyway, you lose 30 cents. You can place 40 mug bets and it's still cheaper. So basically that's how you mug bet. So you don't bet on the head-to-head, you bet on the handicap. And the beauty of this as well is, right, if you are mug betting, so if you take the 0.5 off, you're saving money with the addition of, if Sportsbet always check, Sportsbet can check if you're placing the same bet on a bet exchange, which is what Betfair is. So what that means is, if you're betting minus 13.5 over and over and over and over, like you're always betting on the minus handicap, a bookie can check, is he betting that on Betfair as well? If it's the same bet. So if you're betting minus 13.5, if you're laying minus 13.5 on Betfair, the bookies will catch on to you eventually because they can see that you're just laying the same bet. But if you're laying a different bet, they can't catch on to you. So we are laying a different bet. We're not laying minus 13.5. We're laying minus 13. Now the numbers don't mean shit. So if the handicap's minus 2.5 or it's minus 7.5 or it's minus 30.5, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you pick the negative line bet and you take 0.5 off it. And if like a lot of people don't understand the math and they're like, oh, what if it lands on the whole amount? What if, Orlando, what if the Nets only lose by 13, right? It still pays out on Betfair. Betfair pays out if it lands on the line. So with this mug bet, it's costing us 30 cents. If you withdraw $1,000 through this mug bet method, you're going to lose $6. That's how crazy this mug betting system is, right? So every mug bet, like on average, you'll lose between $1 or $2 for a $50 mug. This one I just found was really good, so that's that. But if we go back, that's pretty much it, guys. So just go through here and kind of, if you didn't really understand my analogy, just kind of reread these two slides especially. And, read that. Those are the two basically steps that explain mug betting and how to actually place one. It's as simple as that, right? You pick the minus bet, you put your $50 or $45 or $40, whatever it is, and then you go out on Betfair and you lay the same bet and just make sure you take 0.5 off. So this was minus 16.5, we take 0.5 off, and now it's minus 16. Easy as that. 1-to-1 ratio. I didn't talk too much exactly on these points, but 1-to-1 ratio roughly. So if you place on average 50 bets a week, you want to place somewhere in the vicinity of 50 mug bets a week. For that mug bet example, I only lost 30 cents. 50 mug bets a week is going to cost you $15 to keep your accounts 1,000 times healthier. Do not sleep on mug bets, okay? Anyway, that is the end of account sustainability. Just a few different methods you guys can use, a few different tips. Mug betting being the most vital, essential, and best strategy. Do not match bet without mug betting, okay? This is, if you guys have watched this video, you're watching this right now, you've genuinely stayed and paid attention to this module on account sustainability, you are going to be very successful in life and you're going to be very successful in match betting specifically, especially. The most important step that most people will just skip past because they don't want to drop their egos and they don't want to spend a few bucks to make their accounts 1,000 times healthier. Anyway, I'm going to see you guys in the next module, which is on the free money guide. Awesome. So we'll get into that. I'll show you guys how you can just make some free cash straight off the bat. I'll see you guys in the next one.